Hey guys, it's time for Tech News Day.
Yeah, I got lots to cover today in tech news, but let's start things off with a bit of deja vu. Do you remember Trump dating? We talked about this back in February on a different channel that we used to work at. And aside from the fact that a dating website specifically for Trump lovers was ridiculous on its face, Trump dating also had the added bonus of maybe accidentally, maybe not accidentally, featuring a convicted sex offender in his promotional photos. Whoops. Anyway, Trump.dating is still around, and it's still on its quest to make dating great again as long as you're not gay. Married straight people, though, totally welcome. Come on in.
Yeah. Or, closeted straight people who want to get married to keep that facade going.
Yeah.
In the church. You got too many friends at the church. You don't want to come out because you're going to lose your entire social circle. So you go on Trump dating, you find a nice wife who's going to shit out a bunch of kids. Everything's great. Trump.dating. Anyways, as any true America's first Republicans know, competition, it's the backbone of the free market. It's the saying goes, let the free market sort itself out.
The invisible hand.
Yeah, around the time that Trump dating launched, TrumpSingles.com also launched, also promising to make dating great again. It was only a matter of time before yet another Trump-themed online dating service popped up, and this one is called Donald Daters.
What a terrible name.
The worst name.
What do we call this?
Donald Duck.
Donald dating, Donald Daters. I'm a Donald Dater.
Where every man has a corkscrew-shaped penis. This tagline, though, they did a little different. It's Make America Date Again.
At least it rhymes.
Yeah. It promises dating without bias, judgment, or liberal intolerance. Dating as a Trump supporter, it's hard, especially if you live in a big liberal city where the bubble is very wide. If you live in a big liberal city where you might not want all the scary Antifa super soldiers knowing that you've got nothing but respect for your president.
Nothing
you don't
but
want
respect for my president.
You don't want to get matched with them or any Gritty fans, because Gritty, he will kill your boss.
So, of course, privacy is central to DonaldDaters.com. Rolls off the tongue. Right there in the frequently asked questions, they make it clear that all of your personal information is kept private except, within just hours of launching and getting attention in places like Fox News, all of its user data was exposed to whoever had the very entry-level minor IT skills to go and look at it.
Yeah.
A security researcher who goes by the name Elliot Alderson tweeted on Tuesday.
Are you sure this isn't your pseudonym?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't know anything about hacking. This other guy, that's not me, Elliot Alderson, he tweeted on Tuesday that in just 5 minutes, he was able to access a list of all the people registered to the site, along with their names, photos, personal messages, and tokens that would allow him to steal their session and use the app as them.
Which you would safely assume means that they could look at all your messages once they have that access. And we did, by the way, bring this up the last time we talked about Trump dating, that the whole thing seemed extremely sketchy and almost like a front that would be used to get information about people that could be used against them.
I couldn't find the article this time, but someone looked into Trump dating a little after the initial craze, and they found that it was built around this weird, dating website template thing that's basically when they say we've got 100,000 users, it's
across farmers only.
Yeah, it's across dozens and dozens of weird niche dating services, and they're all a big scam.
Yeah, it's all interchangeable.
And they all have terrible info security.
Yeah. So Alderson, he reached out to Motherboard about this whole thing, and they were able to independently verify his claims by creating a fake account on the site and asking him to find their info. It appears to be a case of just some god-awful web design with little to no concern for security, it's pretty consistent with the app being barely functional and riddled with typos. And when testing the app, Motherboard sent their preferences to looking for women in New York City, but were then exclusively shown profiles of men living in other parts of the country. So at least it would seem that very few people's personal info was actually exposed here, because it doesn't seem like very many people actually signed up. Even if they did, the fact that the app shakes you down for a $29.99 monthly fee after viewing just 10 profiles, that's probably one of the few things Trump supporters and Trump haters can agree is bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got the two arms from Predator,
Yeah.
Carl Weathers, Arnold, and they both agree.
Yeah.
$29.99 is too much.
Yeah, exactly. And I would assume that the first 10 profiles you're seeing are stock photos of extremely attractive blonde women with guns.
Yeah. So
damn, I can get one of those college campus gun-toting sexy women? She looks just like the girl on my mud flaps.
So if you signed up for Trump or Donald Daters,
You're an idiot.
you're an idiot, and you got exactly what you deserve. But moving on now to some political tech news that's significantly more serious than that. That was a little appetizer, because things are about to get fucking dark here. So the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia allegedly, but almost definitely, had a journalist murdered and dismembered simply for being critical of the Saudi government.
Well, hold on, Elliot. It was just enhanced interrogation, and he just happened to die, allegedly.
Good thing we got this bone saw here. Clean up the mess. Yeah, so this Saudi journalist, allegedly murdered by the Saudi government, and that's bad enough, but the tech world is struggling to figure out what to do about that, because Saudi Arabia is heavily invested in the American tech industry. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS as he likes to be called, he was initially seen as a progressive force for change when he assumed power. After all, he gave women the right to drive, and he made movie theaters legal. Give this man a Nobel fucking prize. He is so woke.
The Emoji Movie was the first movie they showed, so maybe that was the beginning of the end.
That's where they went wrong. So it turns out that, like with pretty much every new Saudi head of state for the last several decades, that whole optimism thing that we did with MBS, it was probably misplaced, and he's probably yet another tyrant in charge of one of the world's most repressive countries, which pretty much does whatever the fuck it wants because they've got lots of oil, and they buy lots of American weapons.
Now, all that shit is pretty easy to ignore, usually. And American companies have happily gotten into bed with the Saudis over the years because they've got all that oil money. And as long as all the bad shit's out of sight, it's out of mind. Much like Red Dead Redemption and the 100-hour work week.
A little bit worse than that.
Well, it's an example. It's a light example that people can connect with on a personal level.
Okay. Personal anecdote.
Yeah. For you. Okay, now you get it. It's hard to take that stance, though, when a Saudi journalist living in the United States walks into a Saudi consulate in Turkey and poof, never comes out. With all the evidence being that he might have been allegedly tortured, killed, and dismembered by a team of Saudis flown in specifically for that task. All for the crime of publicly criticizing the Saudi government. Who's to say, though?
Who knows? Who knows?
You let us know in the comments.
This all, of course, creates a big problem for the U.S. government's relationship to Saudi Arabia, which is normally pretty cozy. But it's also a problem for a ton of tech companies that have either been invested in by the Saudi royal family or invested in by the Japanese SoftBank Vision Fund. Now, the SoftBank Vision Fund is basically a $100 billion venture capital firm with a little less than half of its money coming directly from the Saudi government. And they've got investments in Uber, ARM, Nvidia, WeWork, General Motors, DoorDash, Slack, and lots more. Now, those companies are now dealing with the PR nightmare of being essentially funded by blood money. Whoops. Top executives at Apple, Google, and Amazon also previously appeared nice and cozy with MBS during his goodwill tour of the US back in April, which is when he also visited the White House and met with Donald Trump.
Yeah, it was a PR tour.
We all look pretty bad. Well, not me. But all of you look pretty fucking bad right now.
I'm sure I've used a product that I used. Well, I don't use Slack anymore. I think I'm good.
I use Uber a lot, though.
Okay, no, Lyft.
I'm pretty much exclusively Lyft these days.
Yeah. Woo! Dodged a bullet and a saber. But making everything so much more awkward for the tech and business world is the fact that a little over a week from now, Saudi Arabia is hosting the Future Investment Initiative, a huge annual conference where some of the richest people on Earth rub shoulders, attend talks, and make some big, lucrative deals. Nicknamed Davos in the Desert after a similar annual event in Switzerland, the event is basically MBS's baby. And now attendees from across the business world are making the awkward show of canceling their attendance while also being as polite as possible. Thanks, but no thanks. Because, yeah, with Saudi money spread around so much already, all these people and companies are already financially beholden to the Saudis, so you gotta... Yeah, a little honey and vinegar.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked up, and it'll be very interesting to see what, if any, lasting effect this all has. Maybe the people forget about this whole discretion. If these people had any spine, they'd just sever their ties with the Saudis altogether. But then again, if they had any conscience, they would have probably never gotten involved with them in the first place. I don't know. Maybe, the people down at Google and Apple can head over to the Saudi Arabia factory and check things out for themselves before they sever ties completely.
I'm going to go bring some journalists.
Hey, good for him, though. He actually did, completely sever all ties.
Oh, yeah.
Completely disconnected.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good for her. Good. Hey.
Shouldn't have taken a week, but good.
Conflict of interest avoided.
But yeah, back to the Saudi thing though. The one big tech CEO who probably actually breathes a sigh of relief at this news about Saudi Arabia allegedly murdering a journalist, that would have to be Elon Musk. Yeah, yes, the Saudis do own about 5% of Tesla already, but that number could have been so much higher and so much more of a PR nightmare if not for Elon Musk doing that whole funding secured thing on Twitter while allegedly under the influence of LSD. Now, yes, that tweet did lead to him and Tesla both being fined $20 million by the SEC, and yes, the tweet did lead to Elon Musk losing his job as chairman of Tesla. All bad things. But if you'll recall, funding secured was basically Elon Musk preemptively celebrating after some conversations with Saudi Arabia in which they expressed interest in buying up a much larger stake in Tesla. That ended up not happening, and how much the funding secured thing factored into all that is up for debate. But Tesla is now much better off, even with their SEC penalties, than they would have been if just a few months ago the Saudi government had become one of its largest investors. It's some 5D chess. Elon really fucking dodged a bullet here, even if it meant shooting himself in the foot.
LSD saves another life. Like, he would have been so fucked. And I remember I texted you, like, the night after it happened, and I was like, this fucking bumbling moron, brilliant man literally fucking saved his company by... Twitter saved him in this case.
Yeah.
So, who are we to judge his Twitter use anymore, I guess?
He's operating on a whole different level.
Yeah, well, he was. If he was on LSD, he was literally.
He saw a vision in the future. He's like, oh shit, I have to sabotage this deal, but I can't let anyone know that I can see the future.
What if it was the fact that he was in with the Saudis and they're like, yeah, funding is secured. He's like, what is the one way that I could ruin this fucking deal right now? Take it to Twitter. But I think it's all coincidence. But yes, it would have been very bad if this happened.
Well, and the Saudis, they ended up taking that money and investing it in a startup that's basically like doing what Tesla's doing. And those guys probably gonna have some trouble with growth now.
Yeah.
Kind of like, not great.
Well, hey, great for Elon. Now, meanwhile though, Elon, he's still up to his usual shit posting. And by that we mean the mostly harmless kind, not the kind of shit posting that gets you investigated by the federal government. Following in the tradition of the Boring Company flamethrower, Elon Musk is apparently looking to get into the liquor business with Teslaquila. A Tesla tequila. And it doesn't look great.
It looks like shit.
It looks like he literally, and I think it's because he did, take a bottle of some other kind of tequila and put his logo on it.
Yeah.
As a very, very deep consumer of tequila products, I think he just put his logo on it. Now, CNBC discovered last week that Tesla had actually filed an application with the US Patent and Trademark Office to trademark Teslaquila, and Musk then tweeted a photo of a mock-up of the bottle and the label. And again, it just looks like, you go to a liquor store and just put that Teslaquila logo over it.
Yeah, it's he's literally a Silicon Valley character.
Yeah, wasn't this
Russ Hanneman started this Tres Comas tequila company.
You know what?
Tres Comas.
I bet Grimes, who has disappeared off the face of the earth, I bet Grimes it was probably like, hey, have you seen this show Silicon Valley? It's so you.
I don't think it's funny. Where's the humor here?
And he probably thought it was great. And he's like, I'm gonna be just like that guy. Doop.
Well, yeah, so the Teslaquila story actually goes all the way back to April Fool's Day specifically, when Musk tweeted out some joke tweets about Tesla going bankrupt, along with a photo showing himself passed out next to a Tesla, apparently surrounded by Teslaquila bottles.
It's a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke. Now, those tweets, of course, led to Musk fans demanding actual Teslaquila, so here we are. To be fair, back in April, he was riding high. He had a lot. Everyone was like, "Oh, what's wrong with Elon Musk?"
This was like the first kicking out the floor of a building where it was just like, because half of the people online, specifically investors and stuff, were just like, "What? That's not a funny joke. What are you doing,
buddy?" Maybe.
Yikes.
Oh, and also this week, in addition to the Teslaquila, Elon Musk came out as a weeb.
Oh, damn it.
But who really couldn't have seen that coming?
Well, now he can't qualify for TrumpDating.com.
No weebs. Anime is illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been more surprising if Elon Musk didn't love anime, so it's not really news.
Yeah. The anime is basically built for people with ADHD.
You saying Elon Musk has ADHD?
No, I'm not gonna diagnose it. He's a sociopath!
Well, I don't know. There's probably an app for that. Let me check my BetterHelp. Yep, he's a sociopath.
Sociopath. No, but let's move on to Boston Dynamics. A classic Tech News Day staple.
Boston Dynamics, a company owned 100% by SoftBank. Not sure how much of that money is Saudi money, but that's interesting.
It's weird, all these robots entered the consulate. Yeah, so Boston Dynamics robots, they're getting scarier and more dangerous as they hone their skills for the inevitable robo-apocalypse. First up, there's Atlas, the humanoid robot that previously scared the shit out of everyone when it effortlessly landed a backflip. Well, in the year since that horror show got posted on the internet, Atlas has honed his agility even more. And in a new video, can be seen doing what can best be described as parkour. No matter where you hide or how high you climb, Atlas will be the last thing that you see before you die, and you should just give up immediately because this robot's gonna be able to climb shit way better than
They'll
you.
rip your arms off.
And it doesn't get tired. It
No.
just, I guess it could run out
It
of
has
fuel.
got a battery, but
Yeah.
they start.
We all have batteries, don't you?
Yeah, I mean,
Don't
you
work out.
don't want to run too much. You're gonna run out your battery.
Drain that battery.
Meanwhile, Boston Dynamics Spot robot, the one that has 4 legs and kind of looks like a dog with an ostrich neck, that one appeared in a separate video this week, apparently released to just ease everyone's fears about these ruthless killing machines that will one day hunt us down and exterminate us. Here we see Spot dancing to Bruno Mars' Uptown Funk. Relatable. He's demonstrating moves like the Running Man and twerking.
Can you do the floss yet?
I mean, it's a 4-legged thing. I don't know.
That stands up on its hind legs.
Yeah, well, maybe in the next video. So that's cool. I guess even robots like to cut loose after a rough day on the job. Anyways, in both these cases, it's horrifying and fascinating, especially since Spot is apparently going to actually go on sale next year. Not sure who's going to buy it, but I would be very suspicious of anyone lining up for this product. But it should be noted that Boston Dynamics has gone on the record saying that all these videos that they release, they are like the one good take they get out of dozens of attempts. So that's kind of reassuring.
Sure.
Still though, why are you making these robots?
Why
What's your end game here?
Well, why are you buying them, huh?
Yeah. Why are you buying this robot?
Just want a twerking robot? Is that all? Sure.
You trying to fuck these robots? You gonna fuck the robot, Bezos?
Anyways, finally this week, Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen passed away suddenly from cancer. It's especially sad because he seemed like actually a pretty great dude. Owned a couple sports teams. He co-founded Microsoft. He owned the Portland Trail Blazers, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Seattle Sounders. He donated millions of dollars to education and to fighting Ebola, and he established 3 pretty awesome museums in Seattle: the Museum of Pop Culture, the Flying Heritage Museum, and the Living Computer Museum. He was also into both space and sea exploration and could absolutely shred on guitar. Like, Quincy Jones praised his guitar playing in that same ridiculous interview where he said the Beatles were the worst musicians he'd ever heard. So he's better than the Beatles.
Yeah.
So yes, rest in peace, Paul Allen. You left a great mark on the world and you didn't ruin everything on Twitter.
Yeah. And he was part of that pledge, the giving pledge. So
He will bequeath, I'm sure, a lot of money.
Yeah, and he was not married. He didn't have any kids, so it'd be interesting to see what happens with his estate. But yeah, he seemed like a really cool guy.
Yeah. Again, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again today. We got some pins to send out to our Patreon supporters. We're going to be sending all that stuff out by the end of this week. And if you haven't joined the Patreon yet, patreon.com/internettoday, or click the link right at the top down there.
You got any change?
Please send money, please. Watch our other videos. COD is the worst selling COD of all time. You'll find out. Also, a new episode of News Dump, but go watch. You know what? Fuck that. Watch Weekly Weird, because we're not getting paid for that News Dump.
Yeah, News Dump got demonetized.
It got completely unmonetized.
Yeah.
So
They're
go watch
siphoning that money away and giving it to the big movie companies.
Go watch Weekly Weird instead.
Bye.